Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene for a living world of darkness, Rage Across New York. As usual, we start this scene at the Cub Cabins, where I guess, because why the fuck not, and apparently he's here anyway, William and Platine have just returned from their Umbral adventure. Walking back towards the Cub Cabins, at least Latte is still a bit overwhelmed with all that they've seen now. She's thinking about that, so she's silent as she's walking. And the two of them approach the Cub Cabins.
Yeah, Will has a spring in his step and is probably nattering away at Talate as she contemplates quietly. He's being animated and talking. So he'll shut up once he gets to the cabin.
Decimates, being the thrilling contribution that she is probably lounging mostly under Olaf's porch.
Upon approaching Decimates, William visibly kind of reserves himself and will make sure to supplicate himself suitably. But definitely the wind comes out of his sails. He's clearly kind of much more on guard.
Latte will show throat.
And Decimates Nye immediately kind of picks up her muzzle and kind of lazily laps in their direction. Like, you could tell if she was close enough, she'd be like, lick, lick, it's all good, but lazy. So it's like, meh, blip, blip, blip.
Coming from the sides, from the deeper parts of the park, where you could actually say it's more of a forested area, Kumba has his typical bag on him, but he's in his homage form, walking to the Cub Cabins. Looking around, noticing the people, and he just kind of nods at everybody, but he focuses more of his attention on Decimates.
Decimates is now the focus of somebody's attention.
And Kumba will call out. I was like, Decimates? Good. Said, good evening.
Yes.
If you have any free time, then he starts looking at everybody. Though I feel like you've known him the most. I have something to show everybody of the Sept if they wish to see it.
And she'll make a lazy heave up to her feet. Trundle over. What is?
I made a minor memorial for the people that, at least that I've known, that have passed of recent time. I made them a garden in the forest.
He's good.
And also, if anybody wants to perception alertness, there is actually a change on Kumba's clothing.
I'm not sure that Decimates pays nearly enough attention to people's clothes to notice a difference. Beyond the fact that, hey, he's wearing clothes. Yay! Comments are weird.
I think he's coming along, got to.
Yeah, you know, anyone is not that subtle, but on one of his sleeve there is a $100 bill embroidered onto it with the symbol of the Glasswalker on the left-hand symbol. But yes, it's embroidered on his left jacket, part of his jacket.
Will probably doesn't know what that means, although he will notice this odd token, and he'll greet Aiden. Yeah.
Yeah, Kumba will feel something tug on his sleeve as he sees Aiden next to him, showing his throat and belly. And be like, so, what's that new thing? Didn't have that before. That's new.
And he looks over to it. It's like, it's when I first came to the Sept, I made a bet with Aaron, and I won, and he gave me $1,000. And this is one of the $100 bills out of that $1,000. I embroidered it to my jacket and put the symbol of this tribe on it.
So he's
In the-
actually
in the
sewn a
middle.
$100 bill on, or he has the embroidered design of one.
It's actually one of his $100 bills. But so he embroidered that into his jacket.
Decimates continues to not appreciate the difference.
And Faustine probably doesn't know the significance of it either.
We'll definitely notice. Probably thinks it's pretty cool, but he didn't know Aaron, so he's not gonna.
There would be one tribute kind of thing I would like to make for Aaron. But not sure how much of a good idea getting a tattoo once you've had your first change is.
What is tattoo?
Actually, he'll show you that he'll pull up his sleeve, and the little red rose thing I have on my overlay next to him is on his arm, like right under his wrist. It goes, that's a tattoo they draw on you, and it's, well, some people do it for random reasons. I think if you're gonna get one, it has to be for good reason, something deep and meaningful. You're marking your body forever, so.
Kumba nods to this.
Glances down at scars. Blank. I have many tattoos.
He like scratches his head. He know a way how to explain.
No.
Tattoos are, well, do you know, has anyone told you what ink is?
No.
Have you ever seen someone writing something on a paper?
Yes.
See, well, it could be pen, but and he'll reach out and in his pocket and get both a pen and a pencil. So that's a pen. You write that with lead, but that, and shows a pencil. That is what's inside there. What you write with is ink, and they put ink in your body, and it shows. That's how they do tattoos. They put ink in your body and mark it. So a scar, yes, it marks your body, but it's not a tattoo. It's different.
Blank.
Looks around.
Kumba looks over to Decimates. Like, Decimates, what you have, technically, you can be considered a tattoo. Some tattoos are marked onto the body physically, while others are marked with ink. Though the objective of the Hamid tattoo is to use typically ink to show signs of representations. Like, if I wanted to tattoo the symbol of the Bonar tribe onto my skin, I'd be showing off that I represent the Bonar tribe in some type of meaning, which means I could simply just like them, I like the design, they could be silver reasons. But the main thing of tattoos is simply showing your allegiance to something. Your scars are shown as a proof of your experience in life. tattoos are more of a show of what you want to show people.
Blink. Okay.
But don't worry, it's not a concept you don't have to worry about too much. And Kumba will look over to Aiden and go like, Aiden, I believe you are a talented singer. Possibly, since also you're gathered, you could learn a requiem or a ritual for his passing.
True, but I was thinking of, and he'll smile. I was thinking of getting the same. Well, I'm sure you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, Edie!
Sorry? She doesn't do that much.
I saw the first movie, yeah.
Well, I was thinking of getting. If you remember, Jack Sparrow has a tattoo that he is recognized by. I was thinking of getting the same tattoo because Aaron. Well, yes, every time he saw me, would call me Jack Sparrow. He'd never call me Aiden. I was a Jack Sparrow to him, and that was it.
Kumba nods at this. It's like, if that was your connection to Aaron, then I think it would be very much appreciated.
And he'll nod.
You know, if you put stamps on your body every time a arrow dies, you will be full by the end of the year.
Well, some people have full body tattoos, and sometimes they are for that reason.
She keeps looking at Aiden.
He'll scratch his head. Not every Gary was part of the people that came to save me, though. Aaron was.
Haven't ever seen people drawing things on their skin.
Stoneclaw's finally going to kind of turn towards Tlate and Will. And give an inquisitive head tilt, as they seemed pretty chipper about something before all this conversation started. What do?
Latin will look at William at this point because this is more his story to tell.
Getting a hint from Talate decimates rare. I have some questions for a spirit, and Talate helped me ask those questions.
Ah, he's good.
Kumba looks over at Talate and a little bit of a surprised face, and then just nods.
And we also got given a quest by said spirit.
Head tilt?
There is a spirit of an ancient redwood concept who wishes us to plant his acorns somewhere.
What is
So they will be
redwood?
looked after.
Ah, it wants you plant seed.
Mm-hmm. So
We should plant
we would.
with Iggy. They will be big and strong there.
Where's Iggy?
And she points her nose towards the city. Iggy has garden. She keep very safe.
I think he wants them far away, somewhere that he could spread his children. Besides, it is a quest. We cannot just take the easiest route.
How
No,
many seed? Many?
We've got, and I'll look at Talate, 12.
Yeah.
But that was our choice. He said as many or as few as we wanted.
We can plant a few there, and we can plant a few at other places.
Yes.
Do that, I guess. A couple of them would survive.
If Den Father says he's okay, I can take you to place where we hunt. Is good wild place.
Then
Where do you hunt?
She shoots Aiden the most confused look ever, as in theory the Den Father is taking them periodically on the weekends hunting out in northern New York.
Did not know that.
Yeah, well, that's a thing that happens periodically.
Okie dokie then.
We need to do one of those scenes again. It's been a while.
didn't the redwood ask you to make sure the trees grow into saplings into full-blown trees? Because we don't want to go too far if we can't keep maintenance of them.
He asked us to plant them somewhere they would be cherished. He said originally he'd given this quest to another girl, but she died. And his original place was California. But maybe we should do it there. But he said anywhere where they would be cherished and looked after. And not used as a resource.
And I would say, if you ever have the time, say parks would be the best place. Several around the world. But I would ask for permission from the owners to make sure you don't disrupt the ecosystem.
And Stoneclaw will glance next at Talante. Maybe ask Den Father go to other set. They would like.
That's a good idea, Stoneclaw.
And then you could see. Would be good.
If the grandfather would allow us to accompany him there, then sure. Though I'm not quite sure what I would learn from it.
Is good to see. Yes. And see other Wendigo.
Live stream, come on. Well, yes, it would be good to see other Wendigo.
Kumba takes notice that not the role, but the fact that Decimates and Talate are speaking relatively normally like they kind of used to. So Kumba just takes note of that.
Shall we go see your offering to the fallen?
Oh,
He says to Kumbhakana.
yes. All right. I have a spot for Aaron, and I have a spot for Reiko.
Good.
And, and as we travel into the deeper parts of the park where there are more congested trees and harder for most humans to see, there will be a small little this opening, and again, specifically at one spot, there is another $100 bill, but on top of it, it's encased in glass. And in front of it is a definitely moved dirt and more fertile dirt. And in that spot, you can't see where the plant is growing, but on the other spot, you do see a small little sapling. And you see in the variancy of kanji, if you could read it, not even Kumba can really read it. He just asked somebody, and that's what he copied down. It would say Reiko. And Kumba pointed to where the $100 bill is, like, that is ginger, and the other one is an apple tree. I thought ginger would be a good representation to Aaron because he could be smooth but bitter at times. And I did not know Reiko too well, but
She was good.
and apples are good, so I thought it'd be a good idea. And Kuma will go over to each individual plant and actually turn into Lupus and get really low to the ground, like kind of like looking like he's kneeling or bowing his head to each plant, and then he howls softly, then goes back into homage.
If he starts howling in the Tellurian, Decimates would just lift up a paw and smack his muzzle shut, like probably jostle his brains a little. But if the volume gets up higher than talking volume,
no, it's not getting like a really loud howl. It's more of a soft kind of like, it's like more like a soft like crooning noise, less than anything that actually get people hurt. That's why he opened so deep, the garden so deep in the park. So it's not a full blown howl. He knows. And he goes back into Hamid and stands back up. And he looks over to Decimates like, I don't know. You seem really close to Reiko, but if you want to bring anything to honor her to this place, you're very much welcome to.
She kind of blinks at the notion. She is gone back to Gaia.
And Kumba will nod, as has Aaron. And he looks over at Decimates and he actually smiles a bit weakly. I'm a sentimental person, so I felt this was needed.
Sounds like Hamid thing. But is not a bad thing.
And Kumba will look over to Aiden and William. Goes, Aiden, it's like, how's your gala train going along? And William, your Arwen training?
It's going well.
Oh, going all right. Yeah.
I want to learn how to shoot a bow and arrow.
Link?
And he actually kind of ponders at that. He actually puts his hand just like under his chin about that. I actually haven't seen anybody show that skill since I've been here. But So I wouldn't know who to even advise you to go to.
I think Olaf can get me the weapon, but I don't think. I'm going to look at some YouTube videos, and that should give me at least a basic understanding.
Then he looks over to Aiden and is like, "So, what new Galliard things have you been learning?"
I'm learning how to, and I think, make the tail unique for each individual, depending on who the tail is for, who you are representing.
And Kumba will nod. I was like, "I would like that every time, well, let's not say every time we meet, because sometimes we meet frequently, but every week I'd like a tale from you, if that'd be all right."
He'll nod.
Decimates is now giving him the side eye.
Yeah, but him is also looking.
Is this thing Den Father has asked you to do? Or Den Mother?
This is under the guise of the grandmother, and this
She
will
has
be.
asked you to do this thing.
She has asked me to help teach and help Aiden in his training. So I think it'd be a good way to also better understand the Galliard way if you can give me a tale every week.
If Den Mother has asked you to do this thing, then I will not be angry. But if I ask Den Mother and she has not asked you to do this thing, I will be angry. You are training with cubs.
I am also Aiden's charge, and I was asked to look over his training specifically.
You're not a Galliard. How can you judge whether his tales are right?
And he looks over to me. He's like, "Yeah, you're right. But I'd like to see a physical effort from him. I do not deny that he's learning, but I'd like to see it." And one moment, I got a phone call.
You can do thing, but I will talk to Den Mother and Den Father. Is not bad to learn, but is bad to take authority where is not given.
It's bad to learn wrong.
Yes, is bad to learn wrong.
And Kumpo actually chuckles at that. It's like, "Yeah, I know."
Irony, top score. And seemingly out of nowhere, because, hey, look, a shiny new change of subject. Stone Cold will blink, or Decimates will blink, and kind of shoot a glance over to Kalate, and actually also to Will. You have not seen Iggy.
No.
You should see Iggy. She is nice. Do you want to?
Sure.
I am
Will
adult
has-
now. I can take you.
I still understand why you don't speak about her in her proper name. I just dislike calling her Iggy.
Is very long name. And sorry, what was Will saying before I totally cut you off?
Will just looks like, yeah, sure. Yeah. She doesn't look hugely enthusiastic, but yeah. Fine.
Is like tree spirit, but bigger. Much bigger.
I've been to the tree. But I haven't met Yggdrasil yet. I would like to.
Will looks like he's completely changed his mind now, and he's like, that would be a good thing to do.
The change of mood is enough that Decimates does like the dopey gape mouth expression. Finally, some enthusiasm.
It was, yeah. I think she could probably work out that it's more spending time with Stoneclaw that Will objects to.
She's not completely stupid, but
yeah, when you mentioned a big tree, so for all the best things in Will's life involve big trees. So.
There's also many dove spirits amongst Idrisel's company.
There are many, many spirits in her park. Is good place, but must remember that there are people there that are not Garu, but may be able to see us, can come into Umbra. Must be careful not to say the things
What do you
that they
mean?
should not hear.
Wait, what?
There are people, humans. Alpha calls them
Others,
cairn drainers and will workers. Watched
Ah.
one do wild magic with Iggy.
You mean wizards?
There's a mild head tilt.
and
He also called them mages. He says they cannot come to Sept because they can drain Cairn. But Iggy lets them be where she is, even though she too is Cairn. They do not make her weak or sick. There is also no fighting where Iggy is, unless is sparring. That is okay. But she says is place for peace.
Yeah. Well, me and Ping talked about it. I didn't think she liked any instances of violence in her company. It's interesting.
She has said is okay. Olaf and I wrestle. Is good.
Oh, and speaking of Ping, and he looks specifically at Decimates. Have you seen her of late? Hofix has been saying he hasn't noticed her in a while. I just wanted to make sure if anybody else has seen her.
I'm pretty sure she quit the venue, bro.
Oh, I did not know that. No,
I am not 100%, but that is what I heard. So Stoneclaw just kind of gives a non-committal, don't know.
All right. Hofix seemed unusually nervous about her absence, so I just told him he shouldn't worry about it too much, and she's just being quiet.
Is because she make deal with spirit in Scar. Big weaver spirit in Scar. We must go onto that, and she kind of noses towards the Empire State Building. We go there and do same rite that is done here that makes it rain so that the worm has to retreat. So
And-
that the blood cannot climb the building.
And Goomba kind of sighs at that. And then he responds, did anybody else also was tasked with knowing the ritual that caused it to rain besides Ping? Because if for some reason, if she were to be indisposed, we need to have a backup.
Will is looking at Telate, talking about magic and water, and he's just like,
Yep. I couldn't hear what kind of ritual he was talking about, so
It was out of character. I don't really know it's specific cleansing ritual that involves basically holy rain, and Ping and the other Cleus went to the Empire State Building to do that. And for some reason, Ping was not around. Kumba was asking, I wonder who else could do it, because Kumba doesn't know.
that's one answer.
so what you're saying is Pim was able to make it rain? And Will looks around.
Please don't do that. I have enough time dealing with Aiden's puns and references.
Will just looks at Aiden like,
You love him.
yeah.
Aiden smirks. You love him.
Uh, and Kuma starts just rubbing the front of his face. Oh, I'll need to find Raya Kotori and see if I can learn the ritual in case something happens to Ping. Just that way we have a backup.
You're talking about a ritual that brings forth the rain to cleanse the city.
Is big ritual.
Ping doesn't know. As far
Ping
as I
did
know.
not know.
No.
Is
Tori
I
knows
think-
it. Mother Larissa and Ryo knows it.
yes.
Storm knows it. It's
Noddle
not
noddle.
clear yet. No.
Okay, good. And I'll just need to study more up on Weaver spirits.
They are gross and have cooties. Firm nod.
And Kuma just looks over Decimates just like with the oddest look on his face. Like,
Will actually noddingly agrees with Decimate's sentiments. Doesn't like weak spirits.
They are the thing I kill to save Iggy. Is what is important. And I kill to save Sept. Is also important.
the Weaver, despite her disposition, still is better than the alternative. So we should show respect where we can.
She hides them in her webs. I don't know what you're up to, Robbie, but I can hear all of it.
Pardon?
I said, I don't know what you're up to, but I can hear all of it. Whatever it is.
I don't know. It sounded like you were slurping through a straw.
Huh? Really?
It was really weird.
Yeah.
It was like the ambient little moving around noises.
All right. Sorry. I did that.
But there's no static, so we're still good. It's all good. It just was funny.
I mean, you have to rewatch to find out what weird noises I'm making.
I was like, I wonder if I can guess what he's up to. That's what that pause of silence was us going, huh.
Oh boy.
So Decimates will finally, kind of, I guess everyone or whoever, but more particularly to Latte and to Will, say, if you are free during day, is when I go to Iggy. At night I patrol here, but during day I patrol there. Is good. You can come. I will take you.
Are we going through the Umbra or?
I walk in Umbra.
Okay.
There is
looks-
blood, but
She looks more relieved at that.
but you can walk through. I walk through every day. Is safe.
Good.
Sure, we can ask for a Christmas holiday.
Head tilt?
Will doesn't explain. If he explained everything Stone Cold didn't understand, he wouldn't have any free time.
Exactly.
There's a confused look on Plateen's face as well. She's like, Christmas holiday.
That's okay. Decimates does not always get answers, but she always gives head tilts.
And Kuma will look up, what about Christmas?
It's soon.
Is why Alpha will have Unicorn Spoon paint hair and beard white. Firm nod.
And Kumba yet again just gives it a look of, oh dear.
There's another very confused look.
He says is for kinfolk, for children. He will paint beard white and wear red clothes.
kind of assumed, like, I don't know, we've got this whole pagan kind of thing going on. I don't know. I kind of thought.
Oh, Kumba just he crunches up his face when he says that. Like,
I kind of thought we wouldn't have.
What?
I don't know. It's cool though. Yeah, celebrate Christmas.
it's just because we follow different tenets compared to, let's just say, basically the mundanes, doesn't mean we don't also respect their customs.
Blank.
The Hamids.
Everyone does weird things. All the weird things. The tree is sparkly now. She probably points her nose off to where someone has taken it upon themselves to just pick one of the natural trees and, like, you know, do the line of, like, popcorn garland and some ornaments and whatnot. Is weird. But they do. He's not hurting tree, so he's okay.
Okay, I'm glad. Wasn't sure we celebrated Christmas, but that means I can wear this, and Will run into the boys' cabin.
Blink.
And yeah, he'll be there for a little while. So you keep talking.
I like when they put things on tree. Some of them are good to eat. Doubtlessly, someone has made like the heavy gingerbread ornaments to put out for scavengers, and Stoneclaw has discovered that they are delicious. All the lower branches are demolished of ornaments.
Claw is the ultimate scavenger.
She is. Don't worry, she still has a hoard of pizza boxes she hasn't used yet.
Well, at least we got something that she doesn't like.
Let's be fair, I don't think anyone likes that.
No, fair enough.
I don't think anyone just wants to drink that. That's gross.
No. It's meant for drinking. It's meant for cleaning.
And Kumba will look over to Talante and ask her, "Are you still doing your chiminage to Fenris?"
Why does that concern you?
I'm simply asking out of curiosity.
You do?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear her answer.
She said I do.
And he nods and looks at the decimates. Do you watch her do it sometimes when you're doing your chiminage to Fenris as well?
She like tweaks her ears around. It's not nearly as annoyed as Talate is, but it's that vague like buh. I have seen do once, but I do not just watch. I bring chiminage, I go. I bring chiminage to Griffin, I go.
And Kumba actually looks a little surprised at that when he brings that up to Griffin.
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know that you cared for his opinions.
Was hard to choose. Griffin is right. Fenris is also right.
I can agree on a few things from Griffin, but not all the things he says.
Do you even know what Griffin wants? Or do you just think you know because of what Smiles does?
I know from what I've learned from Ping and further in my studies, though, it is...
Ping is opposite of follower of Griffin.
And... Kumba
Maybe
looks
you
at-
should ask follower of Griffin and not a Glasswalker. Or will not tell you the right thing.
If Kumba looks at Decimates a little concerned-like, and he'll bring up, then what does Griffin want through a person of Griffin's point of view?
Griffin is angry because where Griffin lives, he sees all of the things that humans have killed until there were none left. is right to be angry. Should make sure that these things do not happen anymore.
At this point, Will comes out of the boys' cabin and he is wearing a absolutely gaudy and appalling Christmas jumper.
Like the like token ugly Christmas sweater.
Yep,
Oh my
it's awful.
god, that's fantastic.
It's got red sleeves, and the body of it is striped with various like gaudy colours. And on each stripe, there's like a line of knitted snowmen and 9 other Christmas tree line of knitted like candy stars.
As he comes out, Aiden sees him, and straight away he like covers his eyes and just like falls back on the floor, going, "Ah, my eyes are bleeding."
Will looks very proud of it.
Decimates is amused that it is colorful and like at least memorable compared to like all the generic t-shirts and shit people wear and the coats. But when Aiden falls over, she proceeds to get all up in his face, snuffling and licking and making sure that his eyes are not in fact bleeding. And when she discovers that they are not, she looks very briefly like peeved, like the ears flick back for half a second. And she proceeds to like flop with her forelegs on top of him and start like aggressively grooming his face and hair. That will learn him not to tell his human lies.
Will
She really doesn't understand what the fuzz is all about. She's like, he's wearing a sweater. He's wearing something. Or
don't you like it, Little Spring?
why is everybody acting so weird? Because you changed your clothes.
Will looks very proud of his sweater, or his jumper, sweater.
Sorry.
Kumba is slightly amused by the sweater, but he's more focused on Decimates and what she, and more or less before this sudden change of tone beforehand, and just kind of looks at her and
Griffin
remembers.
helps. Talking about Griffin, this was not her angry voice. This was her matter-of-fact voice.
No, it's just the statement. And William and Kuma had a conversation earlier, and this just reinforced what William told him, and that disturbs Kumba.
Will slightly sense that there's a little bit of tension, and he will kind of be like, "Oh yeah, okay." But yeah, he's still smiling to himself. He loves his cheesy Christmas jumper.
Decimates does not seem to appreciate that there is tension, and is very busily grooming the shit out of Aiden.
Aiden's like holding his dreads so she doesn't like pull them away.
There's like a little bit of nibbling, but definitely not like the gnaw that is meant to like break them up and ruin them. It's just kind of groom nibbles at them a couple times, and then she'll eventually like go ahead and shift her paws off him and release him into the wild, as it were.
I can breathe again.
Kumba will go into his bag and pull out an apple, and he starts sitting down and he starts kind of, I guess you could say, playing with the dirt and eating the apple in his other hand, and he definitely seems like he's thinking.
I like new Hamid clothes. It's easy to tell which one is you now. Firm nod.
Well, kind of like, again, like respectfully, but also like guardedly. Thank you, Decimate Rare.
With that, Platine actually looks up. Do we need to wear city clothes when we go to that tree?
She cants her head thoughtfully for a second. Only if you wish to be in Tellurian, but I stay in Umbra.
Good. She is looking down at her own very Native American clothing, which are obviously not suited to be worn in New York.
You might need to go shopping, Little Spring.
I have silly clothes, but they don't feel nice. They're thin. I'm not surprised that they're all cold. They don't know how to protect themselves from the weather.
No, they just wear that stuff for stupid fashion reasons. And it sounds like partially half-heartedly, partially serious, as again, he's just messing with the ground and eating. And he starts kind of mumbling to himself, like, man, like I don't know how many times I dealt with Cassandra and her fucking clothes. And it's just, and now it definitely looks like Kuma's caught up in some type of memory when you bring that up.
Will makes no effort to pry into other people's private thoughts. And he actually says, I'm going to go back to Cub Cabins. I've got some Google research to do where redwoods can survive.
He's good.
You want to help me go Google it, Stone Claws Rye? Decimates Rye? He corrects himself.
For what it's worth, she doesn't seem annoyed by the slip at all. After all, everyone else has like 50 names. She kind of tilts her head. What is Google?
Will just smiles. A very, very Homid activity. Or if you want to find out what Googling is, you could Google it.
Blink. Makes kind of a bleh face.
Any kind of face palms. Google is, I shall think, how can I? It's a weaver thing.
Continues making the bleh face.
It's a weaver thing that is very knowledgeable. It knows many stuff. You can ask it questions and it will answer you. It will give you, well, it can give you answers.
Is a thing that Homids are good at. Not me. You be good at the thing. I will not.
No, I'm good at singing.
Well, she says that last bit to Will specifically. Like, you know what? You be the best Homid ever. I'm just gonna not.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, will then everyone make a point of calling Tilate Little Spring again. Yeah, he will actually leave then at that point.
She'll reply with a brave sapling.
Will absolutely love that.
Yeah, shakes her head though as she says that.
Kumba, outside of his thoughts, kind of looks at the last minute the interaction between Talate and William, and just really more surprised look on his face. And he transforms into Lupus, finishes off the rest of the apple, then transforms back to Hamid.
Stoneclaw takes 1 point for Team Lupus, eating all the things. And having generally lost interest as she is not being engaged any further, will potentially sidle up just enough to brush against Talate very briefly. And then go ahead and return to trundling back over to Olaf's porch.
She'll take a step aside as Decimates comes closer.
Yeah, if she's being pointedly evasive, she's not going to push it.
It's like social interaction is one thing. Physical interaction with the get is.
Alas, Decimates does not appreciate the difference. But she can at least appreciate that if she's being, like, shifty about it, fuck it. Not worth making her angry. Trundle, trundle.
And Latin will look at Kumba and Aiden, and then she'll probably walk off to tend to his shrine. Just turns back towards him and walk away.
Kumba will look over to Aiden and actually look over to him and ask him. And he makes no effort to like hide it because he knows if Stoneclaw's still around, she'll hear it. But you ask Aiden on a question. Do you think what I do, I guess more specific to you, seems unnecessary?
Sorry, what out of character? What was that? I didn't get all of it.
Oh, he asked he asked Aiden if the things that he asked Aiden seems unnecessary.
About the tail? No, it will help my as you said, it will help my Galliard training, and that's what I'm planning to do anyway. So I shall shrug.
And yes, and other things. And he looks actually kind of serious for a moment, really serious for a moment. I don't feel like I have been doing the Den Mother's task of her proper justice. So I can only do when I interact with you what I think is right. Doing nothing seems inappropriate for what she asked me to do.
It's fine. I mean, we've been hunting together a few times, and we're learning how to work together. Plus, I'm thinking of joining the Shadowrunners. So.
And he nods. I just don't want to be the reason why you're not prepared for if things go poorly.
It should be fine. I'll only ask for a rite of passage when I know I'm ready.
And he also brings up, and the thing, if that's OC out of character, if it's still valid, if we had the conversation in the Cub Cabins chat, the thing that you and William have been talking about, I've been there, and I talked about that with Alana, and she gave me some sobering thoughts about it. Reinforcement of doing the thing, but better understanding of how to do it and when to do it. Don't rush into it.
She's told me that too. I'm not going to rush anything.
And Kumba will actually stand up and walk over to Aiden, which I don't think you're probably actually to height with him because you're typically in Glabro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he puts a hand on the side of his shoulder, and it seems like a reassuring gesture, but if you want to pee and eat, if not,
You mean?
it also,
yeah. look at that.
Oh yeah. The way that he is grabbing your shoulder is there's definitely a sense of, I guess, concern and anxiety.
Yeah, take a deep breath and goes, "Don't worry, I will take my time into, well, I won't, like I said, I won't rush into becoming Cliff. I want a little peace in my life. I've never gotten it before, so as much peace as I can get is what I will take."
Kumba will just nod and he'll say in a kind of a low voice, "Thank you." And he'll begin walking back into the deeper part of the park where he made his memorial.
And I think with that we can end the scene. Thank you, players for player. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And have a good night.